How to embrace your masculinity. I'm going to talk about that. I've seen a few pickup dudes talking about embracing their masculinity. Then I had a close look at the type of pickup dudes giving that advice, and I realized that they're not really doing much masculine stuff at all. But before we kick it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. I have a 3-part video series in the description. First one is on what is the sweetheart cold approach. Second one is indirect game and why it is the most advanced method that you should try. And the third one is my morning routine to overcome social anxiety. There's also a bonus PDF as well. It's in the description. So how to embrace your masculinity. And why is that so important? People talk about embracing their masculinity, and to be honest, it has nothing to do with women. Women are a byproduct of embracing your masculinity, because women are attracted to leaders of the tribe. Women are attracted to men that hold their own against other men. Now, how are you going to do that if you're just out there trying to look for the perfect pickup line, and you just spam approaching all over the place, and someone tells you that it's masculine to go direct and give compliments and jump in front of girls and be very aggressive? I would argue that that is definitely the worst way that you can try to embrace your masculinity. And I'm going to try and give you guys what I think is the best hack for embracing your masculinity, and that is battling other men and having teammates and working together as a team with other men. And the best way to do that is by joining up to some form of team sport. Now, obviously not everybody can play American football, gridiron. Not everyone can play very aggressive team sports like rugby union, like the sport that I used to play. Not everyone is capable of doing that. They might get hurt. But there's a lot of team sports that you can try. Say soccer, they call it football in Europe, where you just kick a round ball around. There's quite a few other team sports that aren't very aggressive. I'd say basketball. If you, I guess you have to be relatively tall to do that. But there's probably an easy way in would probably be basketball. There's probably a few other sports that you could probably try, and soccer's another one that I recommend that you try if you want to increase your masculinity because it's lacking in your life. I recommended this to one of my clients recently. I recommended that he tried soccer. And the reason why it's so important is that when you're in a team sport, you have a team, you've got teammates that you are teammates with. They're your friends. But simultaneously, you have to battle with your friends within the team to get positions within the team, and you have to impress the coach. This is really important. And whether people like to admit it or not, in every team sport, there are certain positions that are more highly favored than others. And it depends on what that team sport is, but almost all team sports, so say for instance gridiron, there's the quarterback, the guy that throws the ball. He's the famous guy. He's usually the captain too, right? In say for instance rugby union, there's the halfback, there's the fly half, and there's just say soccer, there's the striker, right? Or there's a center. These are the guys that usually have the most skill. They get put in the most important positions. They're also the guys that are the thinkers, and they often are the captains as well. So when you start out and do a team sport, you have to battle other men for high-ranking positions, and that really does test you, because what you need to do is ask yourself how much time, how much do you want it, how much effort are you willing to put in to try and battle other men to rise through the ranks and get those prized positions. Because arguably, if you're sitting in a terrible position playing in a team sport, well, you're pretty low-ranking male within that tribe. And that's just the fact of the matter. And when you think about it, if you're a low-ranking man within a team sport, then who's the women that come along? Who are they going to want to date and marry and sleep with? Well, it's not the low-ranking men. You're just a low-ranking man in the tribe, aren't you? You see? They want to sleep with the quarterback. They want to sleep with the striker. They want to sleep with the fly half, the captain. They want to sleep with the guy that's calling the shots, the guy that has put in the hard yards to rise through the ranks within that team. And that is how you embrace your masculinity. Because you can't just go out there and fight other men. Because the other man that's going to take your position, you can't just fight him. You have to be better than him. And that is something that is lacking in today's society. Like, for instance, the pickup community. The pickup community is a bit of a joke that way, because you've got a lot of guys that have not earned their position by putting in the hard yards. And they're good at marketing, but they're not very good at playing the game. It's like you've got these, someone ends up being striker for your soccer team because they put up posters around the football field or whatever, and they can't even kick a football. It's kind of something similar to that. But the way to embrace your masculinity is to battle other men in a logical, mature way. You can't be arguing with the other man. In fact, if he's on your team, he has to somewhat be your friend. You just have to be a better player than him and impress the coach, but you also need to impress everybody else in the team, because the coach is also influenced by the opinions of all the team members within the team. So you have to you have to be the best player for that position. And if the coach puts bad players in important positions and they start losing games because of his bad decisions, well, that coach is going to get fired. And even if it is a low-ranking team that is it's a very low-graded team in a low-graded competition, it's definitely not A grade, it's like F grade or something like that. The coach still needs to do something. The coach still has to earn their position, because there's so many people out there that like these sports, and there's always someone that's be willing to take his position. And if he makes bad decisions, he's going to lose his coaching role. Someone else will replace him. And that is just how it works. Everybody's job is on the line when it comes to a team sport. And this is a good reflection of being part of a tribe within the modern era. Now, a lot of other guys out there might suggest, why don't you just hit the gym and get jacked? And why don't I just run around? Why don't I just fake it? Because that's what they're doing. These guys are faking it. These guys need to really battle other men within a team sport. They need to battle other men. That's how you embrace your masculinity. On top of that, you're not only battling the people that are in your team, the guys that are, vying for different positions within the team, you also need to battle other guys. When you go and play games, you need to beat your opposite number when you're playing this team sport, and you are judged on that as well. If you are being embarrassed by your opposite number when you are playing competitive games, then that's embarrassing for you as well, and it negatively affects the entire team, which puts a lot of pressure on you. And I think it's important to understand that this is how it works. This is how it works out there. And so many guys that get into pickup, they see pickup as this hack. It's like, what's the perfect pickup line? What's the perfect little hack where I can get good at this without actually putting in the hard yards and truly embracing my masculinity? And I would argue that with things that are so important and so valuable, like getting high quality girls, there's no hack, there's no trick here. You have to be that man. And game can help to a large percentage, and I'm evidence of that, because I can't play any team sports at the moment, but I have in the past. So I've embraced my masculinity to an extent where I've damaged my body to the point where I'm almost I've had both hip replacements done and my knee needs to be replaced still today. But I've embraced it. I've got that fire. I've battled other men for positions while still being friends with them, of course, and being part of a team, tried to impress the coach, and gone to absolute war with other men on the field. And that just permeates throughout every aspect of your life, and it does help. It really does help, and I suggest that you guys try that if you are struggling to, for instance, hook. If you're struggling to hook off your approaches, if girls are super duper nice to you and they're like, oh, you're a really nice guy, and they let you down they're really kind to you and they let you down in a real friendly way. And if they're sending you long text messages saying, oh, you're a really nice guy, I hope you know things go really well for you, but sorry, I don't think we're a good match, blah blah blah. If you've embraced your masculinity and you're a man that is a man's man, they're literally just gonna either ghost you or tell you to go away in a harsh way because they know that you can handle it. But if you're too weak, that could be a bit of an issue for you. And if you're in that situation where girls are super nice to you when they're rejecting you, there's a possibility that you haven't embraced your masculinity and they know that you won't be able to handle it. And well, one way to do that would be to try a team sport for one season. What have you got to lose? Most seasons of sports only go for about 6 months. It's not a long time. And one game on the weekend and maybe 2 days of training per week for 1 hour a day, it's not a lot. And at the end of 6 months, you'll probably come out a totally different man. And I promise you, you go do a team sport, you'll come out a new man, a man that has endured, and it will help your results. It really will. And this is one suggestion that I recommend to guys that are struggling in this area. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And don't forget to download my free 3-part video series with the bonus PDF. And I'll see you guys in the next video.